Hey, wise ones! Are you ready for an adventure in Whimsy Wood? In this tale, we'll discover what happens when a night owl learns to rise and shine. Nino's treehouse was a magical place filled with glowing toys and twinkling screens that cast dancing shadows across his cozy bedroom, while the rest of the forest slept under the soft glow of the moon. Nino was wide awake, his eyes sparkling with mischief. He loved staying up late, drawing pictures of whimsical creatures, or building elaborate moon castles out of pillows and blankets. So let's begin our whimsical journey. Did they have fun adventures of their own? Were they dreaming of magical lands while he stayed up watching the moonbeams dance on his bedroom walls? He set up a series of pulleys and mirrors to reflect the sunrise, creating a grand spectacle that woke him up each morning at the crack of dawn. All because he couldn't control his sleep schedule. Nino slumped onto his bed, feeling upset and disappointed in himself. How could he be such a bad friend? But as soon as the sun peeked over the horizon, Nino felt an overwhelming urge to go back to sleep. Sleep isn't just rest, he began, his voice as soothing as the babbling brook nearby. It's your body's way of recharging so you can play, learn, and grow each day. I love staying up late, he admitted, watching the moon and stars and painting pictures of the moon castle. The early sun has its own kind of magic. Nino, Grandpa Tortoise continued, a time for new beginnings, adventures, and making memories with friends. He explained that the moon was great for dreams and rest, but the sun was perfect for fun and laughter. It's like watering a flower so it can bloom and shine brightly. With a start, he watched as the spider spun a delicate web, weaving intricate patterns in the moonlight. Captivated by the spider's focused movements, Nino forgot about his restlessness and watched as the web grew larger and larger. Before long, the spider had created a masterpiece, a perfect web glistening in the moonlight. With a newfound sense of wonder, Nino embraced the day. He flew to the edge of the forest where he knew his friends would be waiting for him. He did enjoy spending time with his friends, and he knew that they had fun activities planned for the morning. They played hide and seek amongst the trees, raced through the forest, and shared stories and secrets. They sat side by side, their laughter echoing through the forest as they reminisced about their day's adventures. Nino felt a deep sense of gratitude for his friends and for the beautiful day they had spent together. Nino felt a sense of belonging and happiness that he had never experienced before. He had experienced the magic of the sunrise and the joy of spending time with his friends. "Wanna paint a pancake rainbow?" "Bobo," the bear added. "We've been looking everywhere for you. Let's turn day into a masterpiece." Sometimes, we have to try new things to find the perfect balance. The moral of this story is sleep well, wake early, and chase the fun that starts with the sun. Saying their goodbyes, Nino flew back to his treehouse with a heart full of happiness. He snuggled into his cozy bed, his mind filled with images of the fun and laughter from the day. As he drifted off to sleep, he knew that he had found the perfect balance between his nighttime adventures and his time with his friends. As Nino joined in the fun, he realized that Grandpa Tortoise was right. There was indeed. The day stretched before them filled with endless possibilities, adventures, and most importantly, friendship. If you have a bedtime story that you'd like to share with us, please leave it in the comment section below. We can't wait to read it. Until next time, keep dreaming big and chasing your own adventures. Inspired by the spider's dedication, Nino decided to try again to fall asleep. Blinking away the sleep from his eyes, he looked at his alarm clock. It was time to rise and shine. Throwing off his covers, Nino jumped out of bed and hurried to get ready. He wanted to join his friends for their morning adventures. This time, instead of pacing, he lay down on his bed and closed his eyes. He took deep breaths, counting sheep as they leaped over a fence. Slowly but surely, his eyelids grew heavy, and he drifted off to sleep. He knew that it wouldn't be easy to change his habits, but he was determined to give it a try. As Nino started his journey to becoming a morning owl, he decided to follow Grandpa Tortoise's advice and get some rest. But the moon still looked so inviting and cozy. How do I choose between the two? He wondered aloud. Grandpa Tortoise smiled gently. It's not about choosing, Nino, he said. It's about balance. Your dreams need time to recharge you, and so does the sun. He suggested that Nino try to sleep early so he could wake up and join his friends for their morning adventures. It won't be easy, Grandpa Tortoise warned. But you can do it. Just remember, A good night's sleep lets you chase the fun that starts with the sun. Nino poured out his feelings to Mr. Snuggles, explaining that he wanted to spend time with his friends, but his sleepiness kept getting in the way. Mr. Snuggles listened patiently, nodding his head in understanding. He put on his comfiest pajamas, which were adorned with twinkling stars. Despite his best efforts to relax, Nino found himself wide awake as the minutes ticked by. The alarm clock seemed to mock him with its gentle tinkling. He paced his room restlessly, unable to shake off his boundless energy. When Nino finished talking, Mr. Snuggles suggested that Nino visit Grandpa Tortoise, known throughout Whimsy Wood for his wisdom and ability to help animals with their problems. Instead of joining his friends for their daily adventures, he found himself drifting off to dreamland once again. He flew to the edge of the forest where Grandpa Tortoise lived in a peaceful garden surrounded by calming waterfalls and blooming flowers. As Nino approached, he could hear the gentle lapping of water and the soft murmur of Grandpa Tortoise's voice.
Taking a deep breath, Nino knocked on Grandpa Tortoise's door, eager to share his troubles with the wise old owl.
It seemed that Nino's life was a secret only known to the whispering trees and the twinkling stars. Deep within the enchanted forest of Whimsy Wood, nestled high in the branches of a giant oak tree, lived a little owl named Nino. As the hours ticked by, the forest around him slumbered peacefully, unaware of Nino's nightly escapades. His room was a wonderland of imagination, where stuffed animals became adventurers and cardboard boxers transformed into spaceships ready to soar through the cosmos. He'd yawn widely, stretching his fluffy feathers as he tried to catch just one more wink of sleep before the day began. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Nino's eyelids grew heavy, and he'd snuggled deeper into his warm bed, hoping to catch a few more precious minutes of shoot. However, his dreams were filled with whimsical creatures that made it difficult for him to stay asleep. Giggling mushrooms, mischievous fairies, and playful squirrels all wanted Nino's attention, pulling him deeper into their fantastical games. And so Nino would often find himself drifting off to dreamland once again. With every passing moment, Nino's creativity soared, filling his dreams with fantastical adventures. Each night they'd tuck themselves into bed, dreaming of juicy berries, bubbling brooks, and cozy dens, completely unaware that Nino was having his own adventures in the moonlight. They could not even imagine what it might be like to stay up late and play under the starry sky. But as the first rays of sunlight began to peek over the horizon, Nino's energy would start to fade. The other animals in Whimsywood had no idea about Nino's nocturnal adventures. Meanwhile, back in Nino's treehouse, he'd often wonder what his friends were doing during his nighttime escapades. Then one day, Nino decided that he wanted to see what his friends were up to. Groggy and confused, he checked his calendar. To his horror, he realized that he'd missed Ria's sunrise surprise party. Just then, his stuffed animal companion, Mr. Snuggles, fluttered onto the bed and asked if everything was all right. With newfound determination, Nino set off on his quest to become a morning owl. "Why does my pillow feel heavier than my dreams?" Nino asked Grandpa Tortoise. Grandpa Tortoise nodded slowly, his eyes filled with understanding. Nino thought about this for a moment. He knew that he wanted to have fun with his friends, but he also loved his nighttime adventures. Nino considered this idea. With a renewed sense of purpose, Nino thanked Grandpa Tortoise for his advice and set off to implement his plan. He returned home and set an alarm clock made of shimmering dewdrops that Grandpa Tortoise had lent him. Suddenly, Nino noticed a small spider dangling from a thread near his window. As Nino marveled at the spider's work, he realized that sometimes patience was needed to achieve the best results. And as the sun peeked over the horizon, Nino awoke with a start. As Nino raced through his morning routine, he remembered what Grandpa Tortoise had told him about the magic of the early sun. When his friends saw Nino approaching, their faces lit up with joy. "You're here!" Ria exclaimed, her eyes twinkling. And so their day began, filled with painting, games, and laughter. As the sun began its journey across the sky, Nino and his friends continued their day of fun and laughter. Later in the day, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Nino and his friends gathered together to watch the sunset. As the sky blazed with hues of orange, pink, and purple, Nino knew that he had made the right decision by waking up early. Finally, as the stars began to twinkle in the darkening sky, it was time for Nino to head home. And so, wise ones, Nino learned that good sleep opens the door to bright days, big adventures, and beautiful friendships. If you enjoyed this adventure, don't forget to show us some love by liking this video and sharing it with your friends.